They pray Asr late night. Asr is 4:15. So imagine I prayed Asr and they are in الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has given us yet another opportunity to continue our classes on Uthool Thalatha. Remember, we're talking about Tawheed and Aqidah. Inshallah, we'll continue from page 14. Page 14 in your kitab. Page 14. Today is going to be the 8th lesson. Today being the 7th day in the month of Jumada Thani, 1441, after the historic hijrah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Mecca to Medina, which is equivalent to the 2nd day in the month of February 2020, the Christian era. Page 14. Page 14. Remember, Sheikh said, 4 things are obligatory upon us, isn't it? Al-ilmu. Am I communicating? And he said, Al-ilmu wa ma'arifatu. Please answer. It's a class. You are expected to practice on this and to teach others, isn't it? So al-ilmu huwa ma'rifatullah, ma'rifatu nabihi, ma'rifatu din al-Islam, bil adillah. So we've discussed what? Bil adillah last week. Now that is the first aspect of the 4 things that is obligatory upon us to learn, isn't it? One is al-ilmu, and that knowledge has been defined. What that knowledge is has been defined, and that is what we just said now. So the second thing that is obligatory upon each and every one of us as Muslims, with which we can be the Muslims that we ought to be. You know, today we've been crying. A lot of people have been listening to lectures. A lot of people have memorized the Quran. People have a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam committed to memory. People know a lot of things today, information, but there is one thing that is lacking mostly. That is what we are going to discuss today. And that is why, as students of knowledge, what we are going to discuss today is the most important thing in your life. Am I communicating? Hence, we are going to discuss al-amalu bil-ilm. Al-amalu bil-ilm. This is an obligation upon each and every one of us. Now you have acquired knowledge. You will never exhaust knowledge acquisition. At each time, you will be in need of a new knowledge, isn't it? Because there are so many things that we are ignorant of. So each time, we are to humble ourselves to seek for more knowledge. But it comes with a burden. Now it's an obligation upon us to seek for knowledge. But it comes with a price. The price is, you don't seek for knowledge for seeking's sake. You seek for knowledge in order to act on that knowledge. So when the Muslims act on the knowledge that is in the religion of Islam, a lot of people will not, complain about the actions of the Muslims. Am I communicating? Because what Islam preaches is perfect. So if the Muslims can act on the knowledge that is kept in the religion of Islam, then suffice to say that, alhamdulillah, a lot of people will be attracted to the beauty of Islam through the action of the Muslims. So, الثانية, the second thing is what? العمل به. بمعنى العمل بالعلم. Acting upon the knowledge that you have acquired. أي العمل بالعلم That is what Sheikh meant when he said al-amalu bihi. Al-amalu bil-ilm. Acting upon the knowledge that you have acquired. Why? لأنه لا يكفي أن الإنسان يعلم ويتعلم بل لا بد أن يعمل بعلمه. Because it is not sufficient. لا يكفي أن الإنسان يعلم, that a man should seek for knowledge. ويتعلم, you know, you are seeking for knowledge, you are teaching that knowledge. بل لا بد أن يعمل بعلمه. It is necessary, it is a must that you should act on your knowledge. So it's one thing to seek for knowledge, it's one thing to teach others this knowledge, it's another thing to act upon that knowledge. So we say you must act upon the knowledge that you have sought and the knowledge that you are seeking. فَالْعِلْمُ بِدُونِ عَمَلٍ إِنَّمَا هُوَ حُجَّةً عَلَى الْإِنسَانِ. Knowledge without action is an evidence against man. Knowledge without action is an evidence against man. فَالْعِلْمُ بِدُونِ عَمَلٍ إِنَّمَا هُوَ حُجَّةً عَلَى الْإِنسَانِ. It is an evidence against man. Am I communicating? فلا يكون علم نافعا فلا يكون العلم نافعا إلا بالعمل. It is not a beneficial knowledge until it is put into action. So the Prophet ﷺ will pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah should grant him beneficial knowledge. Beneficial knowledge. Because it is not called knowledge, a beneficial one for that matter, until it has been put into practice. So a lot of people can quote verses from the Quran. A lot of people can wow you with quotations and references of a hadithun nabawi. But the question is, how much of this knowledge have we been able to put into practice? So al-ilmu laysa bihifz al-mutun بدون تطبيق. It is not memorization. You have memorized Quran, you have memorized this verse, you have memorized this hadith, you know this, you have read 10,000 books, you have 100,000 scholars. No. If that has not been translated into action, it is still not knowledge. Are people benefiting from that knowledge that you have earned? Are you benefiting from that knowledge? Are you putting that knowledge into practice? أما من علم ولم يعمل فهذا مغضوب عليه. As for he who seek for knowledge without acting on the knowledge, فهذا مغضوب عليه. This is the person upon whom the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been confirmed. مغضوب عليه. This is the person upon whom the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been confirmed. لأنه, why is Allah angry with this person? Why is the person facing the wrath of Allah? لأنه عرف الحق وتركه على بصيرة. The reason being that he knew the truth, then abandoned the truth upon knowledge. It is one thing not to know something and not acting on it because you are ignorant of it in the first place. Then it is another thing entirely for you to have acquired knowledge regarding certain issues. Then you fail to put that knowledge into practice. Then you have just exposed yourself to the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah safeguard us. Am I communicating? So as students, we are not just coming to this class. We want to see this knowledge translating into your everyday life so that when people come in contact with you, they can now confidently say that, wow, we've come in contact with the people that are seeking for knowledge. Am I understood? When someone comes in contact with you, for example, for the past 4 years we've been learning here, isn't it? So when someone comes in contact with you, he should see that element of knowledge in you. Maybe prior to when you started seeking for knowledge, maybe you were reckless, you were doing certain things, but now people should be able to see that, okay, we can trace the effects of the knowledge this person is having in his life, in his activities. We can see that, we can be able to gauge that, yeah, this person has acquired knowledge and is putting that knowledge into practice. Am I communicating? Otherwise, one will fall into the categories of the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is angry with whom لأنه عرف الحق وتركه على بصيرة, because he has understood, known the truth, then he abandoned the truth after being informed of it. والناظم يقول, الناظم هو شاعر, isn't it, the poet? والناظم, the poet said, وعالم بعلمه لم يعملن معذب من قبل عباد الوثن. وعالم بعلمه لم يعملن معذب من قبل عباد الوثن. The poet said, the scholar, with his knowledge that he did not act upon, mu'adhabun, he is punished min qabli ubbad al-wathan, even before the worshippers of idols are punished. Do you know why? Because of the hadith of Abu Huraira. This statement, I don't know if the poet got it from that, but there is a statement, there is a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, inshallah, that I'm going to make reference to, the hadith of Abu Huraira radiyallahu anhu in Bukhari and Muslim, that will expand on this. So let's take what the poet said again. وَعَالِمٌ, you have to memorize this, isn't it? وَعَالِمٌ, yes, you have to memorize this. وَعَالِمٌ بِعِلْمِهِ لَمْ يَعْمَلَنْ مُعَذَّبٌ مِّن قَبْلِ عُبَّادِ الْوَثَنِ. The scholar, with his knowledge that he does not act upon, or he did not act upon, will be punished before the worshippers of idols. So it's worse, isn't it? He'll be punished before the worshippers of idols. وَهَذَا مَذْكُورٌ فِي الْحَدِيثِ الشَّرِيفِ. And this might be mentioned in the noble tradition of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Inna min awwali man tus'iru bihim an-nar yawm al-qiyamah. Verily, the first of the people that will be burnt in hellfire on the day of judgment, alimun, a scholar, lam ya'mal bi'ilmihi, that did not act with his knowledge. So you move around and say, this guy is learned. That is a burden. How much of that knowledge have you put into practice? Like I said, it's not about, Satan was knowledgeable, isn't it? Satan was knowledgeable. So it's not about, beating your chest that I've memorized the entire Quran. Yes, it's something very, very worthy. It's not for you to say, oh, I've memorized the 6 canonical books of hadith. What is more important than that is putting it into action. And I'm going to substantiate this with the statement of Abu Abdurrahman, alaysa kadhalik, Abu Abdurrahman as-Sulami. This hadith, inshallah, I'll come back to it. Let us finish what we have on the page, then we can do another commentary on it. وَهَذَا مَذْكُورٌ فِي الْحَدِيثِ الشَّرِيفِ. This has been mentioned in the noble hadith. Inna min awwali man tus'iru bihim an-nar yawm al-qiyamah. Verily, the first of the people that will be burnt in hellfire on yawm al-qiyamah, alimun, is going to be a scholar, lam ya'mal bi'ilmihi. Alimun lam ya'mal bi'ilmihi, a scholar that did not act with his knowledge. He has acquired knowledge, but there is nothing to show of the knowledge that he has acquired. Am I communicating? He has acquired knowledge, but nothing to show of that knowledge that he has acquired, because he has failed to put the knowledge into practice. Naam. Al-ilmu, knowledge. Al-ilmu maqarunun bil-amal. Al-ilmu maqarunun bil-amal. Knowledge is tied down to action. Knowledge and action are like this. Alaysa kadhalik. Maqarunun bil-amal. Wal-amalu, and action, huwa thamaratul ilm, is the fruit of knowledge. Action is the fruit of knowledge. When they pay you after you have done your work, they say that is the fruit of your labor, isn't it? So imagine working and not being paid. What is that called? No. Imagine, yes, slavery and what again? When you work for someone and when you keep working for someone and it keeps avoiding zalunchi, what is that? Naam? Operation. What is dhul? What is injustice? What is dhul? What is the definition of dhul? No. Yes, I need the linguistic, yes, that is what you are trying to give. Yani lugatan, what is dhul? Dhul. Now you are defining what it is. Whether will ashya min ghayri mawdi'. When you put something where it does not belong, that is dhul, linguistically. So when you worship someone other than Allah, Allah said, wal kafiruna humud dhalimun. Because worship is for Allah. And now that they have directed that worship to other than Allah, then it is called what? Dhulm. Alaysa kadhalik. So when you work and you are not paid for the work you did, that is called what? Dhulm. That is operation. Isn't it? Islam frowns at operation. So now we are telling you the fruit of your work is to be paid, isn't it? Now we are telling you that the fruit of knowledge, al-amalu huwa thamaratul ilm. Action is the fruit of knowledge. So what am I trying to put out here? Who can help out? Who can take it out from my brain?
Knowledge without action is injustice.
That is injustice. You have been unjust to yourself to have acquired knowledge and failed to put that knowledge into practice. So if the fruit of knowledge is action, and now that we have acquired knowledge, imagine we are complaining. We are good at complaining, isn't it? But imagine all these complaints that we keep, pushing out there. This person is not just, this person is not truthful, this person is not. Imagine the Muslims now putting that act of justice into practice that they found in the Quran. Imagine the Muslims now putting truthfulness into action as they found in the Quran and the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So the problem is not in the religion. The problem is in us failing to practice what is kept in the religion. So as students here, what are we saying? We are to put into action the knowledge that we acquire, isn't it? So that people can now see a changed Muslim society. Imagine all of you seated here with your handsome number here. Imagine all of you now starting to put into practice what we've been learning. Imagine the ripple effect that is going to have in your immediate family, in your workplace, in your school as a student, in your wherever, in your business area, wherever at home. Imagine you putting all these things into practice. The ripple effect. That is how a society is made. The Prophet ﷺ started with a handful of people, but we are going to tell you why that society excelled. Because of their understanding of knowledge to be something that necessitates action. That was the only thing. They understood knowledge to be an enzyme, a catalyst to an action. Isn't it? So when they acquired knowledge, they immediately put it into practice. And that was the only way they were able to change the Arabian society within a span of 23 years, the shortest ever in the history of humanity for an ideology to take over everything and to change an entire region, an entire landscape of the world to adopting one thing. It takes almost 100 years for a generational change, but you had 23 years. The Prophet ﷺ came and changed the entire landscape of the world. Why? Because he had people that understood what Islam is, people that understood what knowledge acquisition is. They were ever ready to put into practice the knowledge they acquired. Hence, the Islamic society. Am I communicating? فَالْعِلْمُ بِلَا عَمَلٍ, knowledge without action. كَشَجَرَةٍ بِلَا ثَمَرَةٍ, is like a tree without fruit. It's like a tree without fruit. كَشَجَرَةٍ بِلَا ثَمَرَةٍ لَا فَائِدَ فِيهَا, there is no any benefit in it. There is no any benefit in it. وَالْعِلْمُ, knowledge, إِنَّمَا أُنزِلَ مِنْ أَجْلِ الْعَمَلِ, knowledge is only that which has been revealed for the purpose of action. Knowledge is not for memorization. Knowledge is not for you to be called a scholar. Knowledge is not for you to say, I read 10 books every week. That is not knowledge. Knowledge is for you to put that thing that you have read in a week into action. But we kept piling up knowledge and we've not even put the basics of Islamic knowledge into practice. So when you practice on your knowledge, it becomes easier for you to even memorize the knowledge. Imagine practicing on the sunnah of putting on your cloth. If you have to take the book to read every time you are putting on your cloth, every day you have to put on your cloth, isn't it? So imagine reading from book 5 days in a week or 7 days in a week. The following week, that thing will stick to your brain without you making any effort to memorizing it. That is you putting it into practice. That is the best way to memorize knowledge, is by putting it into action. أليس كذلك؟ وَالْعِلْمُ إِنَّمَا أُنزِلَ مِنْ أَجْلِ الْعَمَلِ كَمَا أَنَّ الْعَمَلَ, just as action, بِدُونِ عِلْمٍ, without knowledge. You're just praying. You don't know how to pray. You want to give zakah, but zakat is what? 1/40, 2.5%. But now you want to give zakah, you don't have knowledge about it. You are giving 50% of your money as zakah in the name of zakah. You're going to have a reward for sadaqah, but that will not equate to zakah. You have still not fulfilled the obligation that Allah has placed upon you. Even though the money you gave out is much, much more than what is expected to be given out in zakah, you are still not going to be rewarded for zakah. Now, because you are acting without knowledge. Is this clear? So what am I trying to establish here? There are two things. You acquire knowledge in order to put it into practice, which means you don't even act prior to knowledge acquisition. So you have to seek for knowledge first before you can be able to act. So when you stand up to pray, it is expected that you've sought for the basic knowledge on how to pray. Am I communicating? Because that makes life much more easier for you as a Muslim. Wallahi, imagine all the ta'alimat bain al-maghrib wal-isha in our masajid and ba'da salat al-subh. Imagine all the people, at least, well, let's say the women are excused because they don't go to the masjid to pray in congregation, but every man gets to listen, every man gets to listen to what? At least one reminder about Islam. And even the women today, thanks to technology. But in the masjid, live, you are seated, you are exposed to something of knowledge every day. So imagine, it happens in my masjid, it happens in your masjid, it happens in every other person's masjid here. And even the people watching. But if assuming that that knowledge as pour in us, as pour us into action, imagine how beautiful our societies will be. And every Muslim now is acting upon the knowledge that he kept acquiring every day. Whether you like it or not, willingly or wittingly or unwittingly, you sit in the masjid and knowledge comes to you. Somehow, someone says something, you pick it up. Some people's life have been changed by picking just one sentence from a gathering. Perhaps they just entered the masjid to pray and go, but the teacher is teaching in the masjid. They pick one statement and it changed their life forever. 3 days ago, someone was telling me, or perhaps 4 days ago, he said in one of the Ramadan tafsir, throughout, nothing stuck to his brain except one statement that was made. That Ramadan is not for you to acquire this world. Ramadan is for you to acquire the hereafter. As simple as that statement is, it said it changed his entire perspective to Ramadan. The person that made the statement is never aware of how impactful that statement was. Once I remembered when we were in ABU, I was seated in front of our house and someone came passing by. Someone I know. And I spoke with him, I talked to him about keeping the beard. As simple as that. He was passing by and we greeted my neighbor from Mina. And I just said, it would be nice if you can keep your beard because the Prophet ﷺ commanded that. Wallahi al-Azim, years later, his beard is thicker than my beard now. Yes, it's a barrister with a thicker, yes, you can see his beard from the other side. And wallahi, I was amazed and I thank Allah that he looked at me and said, do you remember the day you told me to keep my beard? I said, yes, I was seated on the bench where he said, wallahi, that statement stuck to him. From that day, he has not touched his beard. So you don't know that statement that would change the life of someone. That is why Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir falyaqul khayran aw liyasmut. The Prophet ﷺ said, he who believes in Allah and the Yawm al-Qiyamah should say that which is good or keep quiet. Because when you keep saying good things and people keep picking on it, there is every possibility that someone somewhere will change his life. That is why there is nothing good in speaking evil. Umar ibn Khattab was reported to have said, put an end to evil by avoiding its discussion. That is instructive. Put an end to evil by avoiding its discussion. So when they say someone has killed someone or someone has committed zina or someone has drank alcohol or people say they've been chopped off, when you spread it on your phone, you're spreading evil. What is the fa'idah? What is the benefit? What are you trying to achieve by doing that? That is the question you ask. Am I communicating? I've given this example before, that even sometimes when there is an evil in the society, you have to be wise to speak about it, because in speaking about it, you can, if you are not wise, if you don't apply wisdom, you will introduce people to that evil. Someone has never heard of that evil happening in that particular location. Now that you have mentioned, it has stuck to his brain. Let me speak broken. One day, Satan will bring it up in his mind when he is at his lowest ebb. You know, we all experience that. Sometimes our iman goes very low. When he is at his lowest ebb, and this happens to every one of us, when he is at his lowest ebb, then Satan brings that idea to him. But you were the one that said it in the masjid, that in particular streets, you gave the street number. So time after Maghrib, people sell drugs. You see them on the street selling drugs as if there are no securities, or you see prostitutes lining up. And you give you don't have to mention the area. You can only mention the area if you are speaking privately to the authorities that will act. Because now you are telling them the exact location so that they can go and act. But when you come out publicly and you say it, now you have Someone somewhere at his lowest ebb, he now drives in his car. Now he wants to test weed, isn't it? Then he drives down and he remembers the sheikh on his mimbar shouting in street so and so. You have people. Now the sheikh has given him the address of where to buy. That is a sheikh giving you address of where to buy weed. So you have to be wise when discussing evil. Now let's continue. كما أن العمل بدون علم يكون وبالا وضلالا. It becomes wasteful, isn't it? And what is dalal in English? Better. Misguidance, isn't it? And it becomes effortless. What is it? It becomes fruitless. You don't earn anything from it. When you act without knowledge, you earn nothing from it. Ala sahibihi. Yani upon the doer of the action. The doer of the action earns nothing. إذا كان الإنسان يعمل بدون علم فإن عمله وبالا وتعبا على صاحبه. If a person acts without knowledge, then that action of his will become a rejected action. It will become, koi wahala, ko wata'aban. Zai gajiyar da shi da kawai, you just a fatigue on him. He gains nothing from it. Alaysa kadhalik. So you stand up at night and someone says in the first rakah, recite Fatiha, Kul Allahu 1111. That is acting without knowledge, because there is no any knowledge that is asking you to do that from Quran and Sunnah. So you end up reciting Kul Allah 1111 in the first rakah. Ta'abun alayk. Na'am? Amilatun nasiba. Kun san tafsirin? Do you know the tafsir? Amilatun nasibatun tasla naran. Kagan, he worked, he suffered while working, but he's going to be born in hellfire. Not that he didn't do the act, but بدون علم أو بعدم الإخلاص. بدون علم أو بعدم الإخلاص. Of course, العبرة بأموم اللفظ لا بخصوص السبب. عاملة ناصبة, to the unbelievers and to the Muslims that act without knowledge. The people of Bid'ah, when they act, what is that going to be? Amilatun nasiba. You have been beating your chest. Nobody has commanded you. At the end of the day, gashi ka aiki, ka aikatu, ka jijiki, ka yizufa. But there is no reward, because there is no command as to you doing that. So it is amilatun nasiba. Alaysa kadhalik. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide all of us. Wabalan, yani, it becomes wasteful, it becomes wasteful to you. It becomes, yani, you don't gain anything from it. Wahala che kawai da, a wasted deed. That is why Sheikh now said, Qala sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Man amila amalan, whoever does an act, laysa alayhi amruna, on which there is no any command of ours, yani there is no any evidence in Quran and Sunnah, fahuwa raddun, it will be rejected. Yani the act will not be accepted, the doer of the act will not be rewarded. So that is wabal, isn't it? ولهذا نقرأ في الفاتحة في كل ركعة. نعم, quickly please.
أشهد أن محمد رسول الله.
You have memorized the hadith. That's hadith number now in Arba'un an-Nawawi. Number 5. The hadith is in which kitab? Bukhari and Muslim, muttafaqu alayh. Naam. ولهذا نقرأ في الفاتحة. That is why we recite in Surah Al-Fatiha في كل ركعة, in each raka'ah. What do we recite? اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Guide us onto the right path. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. The path of those whom you have favored, not the path of those whom you have confirmed your anger upon, and the misguided folk. Now, who are the, al-maghdub? Remember, at the early part of this class, we said what? We said what? We said, Man alima walam ya'mal fahadha maghdubun alayhi. He has knowledge, but is not acting upon his knowledge. Then this is maghdubun alayhim. The wrath of Allah is upon this person. Who are these people that are described as such in Surah Al-Fatiha? The Jews. Because Judaism is a knowledge-based religion too, isn't it? The Jews, they have a Torah too, isn't it? There is knowledge in it. Allah has given them knowledge, but they refuse to act upon the knowledge. So when you have knowledge and you refuse to act upon your knowledge, you are likened to the Jews whom Allah has given the knowledge but failed to act upon the knowledge that Allah has given to them. Am I communicating? That is al-maghdubu alayhim. Waladhdallin, and those that are misguided. Who are these people? We said al-amal biduni ilm is what? Batani. Who are these people? The Christians. The Christians. So you see them humble. Allah said, amongst them there are ruhban and the priests and monks, isn't it? And Allah said, you will not see them arrogant. They are humble. So that is why you see in Christianity, you see some sects of them that don't even wear shoe when they go out praying, isn't it? So you see a lot of, and it is not knowledge based, isn't it? It is about inspirational talk. Am I communicating? So Allah likened it to that. Action without knowledge, knowledge without action. فَسَمَّ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ يَعْمَلُونَ بِدُونِ عِلْمِ. Then Allah named those that act without knowledge الضَّالِّينَ. وَالَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَلَا يَعْمَلُونَ. And those that have knowledge and do not act upon their knowledge, بِالْمَغْضُوبٍ عَلَيْهِمْ فَلَنَتَنَبَّأْ لِذَلِكَ فَإِنَّهُ مُهِمٌّ جِدًّا. We should pay attention. That is فَلَتَنَبَّأْ. We should pay attention to this. فَإِنَّهُ مُهِمٌّ جِدًّا. So the Muslims are always the balanced nation. Quran chapter 2 verse 1. 50 what or 40 what? وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. So we seek for knowledge and act upon the knowledge. The other group, they seek for knowledge, they don't act on it. The other people, they act without seeking for knowledge. The Muslims, they seek for knowledge and they act. At each time, the Muslims are the balanced nation. So we don't know what extremism is. Extremism is alien to Islam. In anything of Islam, there is no extremism. Look at just the example I gave. Now, quickly, we have come to the end of the page we want to study today, page 14. Now, I want to share a bit of an addition to this with you. I said the companions of the Prophet ﷺ were able to attain the feat they attained because they understood that knowledge comes with action, isn't it? When you seek for knowledge, you have to act. So I want to substantiate that with the statement of Abu Abdurrahman al-Sulami, who said, Addathana alladhina kanu yuqri'unana al-Quran, Uthman bin Uthman wa Abdallah bin Mas'ud. Abu Abdurrahman al-Sulami, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, he brought this in Majmul Fatawa, the 15th volume. Abu Abdurrahman as-Sulami, he said, حدثنا الذين يقرؤون القرآن, those that used to recite the Quran to us. Uthman bin Uthman, wa Abdallah bin Mas'udin, wa ghayrahuma annahum, they said, kanu, they used to, yani the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they said, kanu idha ta'allamu min an-nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, idha ta'allamu min an-nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if they seek for knowledge from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 10 ayatin of 10 verses, lam yatajawazuha hatta ya'lamu ma fiha min al-ilmi wal amal. They said the companions had this habit. When they seek for, when they learn 10 verses from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 10 ayat, they will not increase in the number of the verses. They will not memorize it. They will not add to the 10 verses until they have learnt what those verses are, and now they have acted upon the 10 verses. Then they go for the next one. So so he said, فَتَعَلَّمْنَا الْقُرْآنِ وَالْعِلْمِ وَالْعَمَلِ جَمِيعًا. So we used to learn Quran. We used to learn Quran with knowledge and action at the same time, jami'an. So we used to combine the knowledge of seeking for how to recite the Quran and out and acting upon it. So we will recite 10 verses, make sure that we have acted upon the provision of those 10 verses, then we will seek for more verses. So it was said, I've forgotten if it was Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, that Imam Ahmad will not put a hadith in his musnad. He will not record a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ until he has acted upon that hadith. So when he read the Prophet ﷺ did barbing and he paid the hajjam, he paid him certain amount of money, dirham or so. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal did that and paid that amount of money before he recorded that hadith in his kitab. So that is one. Then Ibn Taymiyyah, he continued, he said, wal aql, knowledge, intelligence, wal aql, yatadammanu al-ilm wal amal. You only talk of intelligence when there is knowledge and action. So he who speaks without knowledge is still not an intelligent person. He who speaks with knowledge but does not act on his knowledge is still not an intelligent person. So intelligence encompasses knowledge and action, man, together. فَمَنْ عَرَفَ الْخَيْرِ وَالشَّرِّ, whoever knows good and evil, فَلَمْ يَتَّبِعَ الْخَيْرِ, and it does not follow the good, وَيَحْذَرِ الشَّرِّ, and it does not avoid the evil, lam yakun aqilan, is not intelligent. Ba shi da hankali. Ba shi da hankali. Duk wanda ya samu ilimi kuma bai aiki da shi ba, he knows that this is good but he does not follow the good, and he knows this is evil and does not avoid the evil, that person is not intelligent. So intelligence calls for that. Our time is up. I wanted to share the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ, but I think this is a class, so it's brilliant that we can give you the assignment. I want each and every one of you independently research on that hadith of the first set of people that will be judged on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Remember we said you are going to memorize this also. What? وَعَالِمٌ بِعِلْمِهِ لَمْ يَعْمَلًا مُعَذَّبٌ مِنْ قَبْلِ عُبَّادِ الْوَثَنِ. The scholar with his knowledge that he did not act upon will be punished before the worshippers of idol. So upon this, I give you an assignment. Get a hadith that coincides with this statement, isn't it? Where someone has knowledge but does not act upon the knowledge. And I've given you heads on that the hadith that spoke about the first set of people that will be judged and on Yawm al-Qiyamah. So that is the assignment. Please endeavor to do it. The first category of people that Allah will judge on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Please do the assignment. You can send it to me on WhatsApp to go through, and the referencing, please. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, shalla la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. So we have ended in a perfect timing, isn't it? So now the hadith, please. Our last week's hadith. Please, quickly. Randomly. You have been... Who is hiding behind Mukhtar? Are you ready to bring the hadith? When? When are you bringing? Okay, let's start from behind. Get the mic back to the sisters. Hadith. Hadith, last week's hadith. Quickly, please. We have 5 minutes. Hadith number now that means. Quickly, please. Hadith number 7. Quickly, please. It's short, so we can finish quickly. Now. Now. Now.
رضي الله عنه عن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم قال الدين نصيحة.
نعم.
قال لمن؟
قلنا
لمن؟ قال لله ولرسوله ولكتابه ولرسوله ولأئمة المسلمين وعامتهم.
نعم. رواه Muslim. Now, you still need to perfect the first line, inshallah. Now, next person. وَعَامَّتِهِمْ. Naam, and the general Muslim. That nasiha, what are we learning from that hadith is that Islam is sincerity. Isn't it? To Allah, to His Messenger, His Kitab, and to the leaders and to general Muslim Ummah, which means you have to be sincere with all your Muslim brothers. There shouldn't be any act of insincerity amongst us. To Allah, you should be sincere. Focus your deen to Allah alone. To the Prophet ﷺ, sincerity to the Prophet, holding on to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Sincerity to our leaders is to obey them and not to disobey them in that which does not entail Allah's disobedience. And now to the general Muslim Ummah, to advance good towards other people and not to harm them in any way. Now, the brothers now. Quickly, who is volunteering? Now. Abdul Majid. Quickly.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. حديث السابع عن أبي رقية تميم بن أوس الداري رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال الدين نصيحة قلنا لمن قال لله ولكتابه ولرسوله وأئمة المسلم وعامته رواه مسلم.
ولأئمة المسلمين. نعم. You got it. Excellent. Raw Muslim. Now, you know how they throw bouquet in weddings? Whoever catches it is going to be the next person. So who's next? Okay. El Yunus, quickly.
الحديث السابع عن أبي رقية تميم بن
You have forgotten. Tamim bin Awsin al-Dari.
تميم بن عوس الداري
Awsin al-Dari.
عوس الداري
نعم.
قال رضي الله عنه قال أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول الدين النصيحة قلنا لمن قال لله ولكتابه ولرسوله ولأئمة المسلمين وعامتهم.
نعم. نعم ممتاز. Now quickly, I hope you will practice on this hadith now. Remember, you will practice on this hadith. Now, so from now henceforth, all your actions, all your deeds will be for the sake of Allah. You are not seeking for anyone to say thank you, to praise you, or neither are you seeking for any worldly gains in your acts of ibadah. Then you are going to be sincere to the Prophet ﷺ to know what the Prophet asks us to do. Then you are going to be sincere to your leaders and to general Muslims. So from now, you're not going to hate your fellow Muslim. Because you are not saying ad-dinu nasiya, the a'immatil muslimin. Then you go out and you are hating on your fellow Muslim brothers and sisters, or you are planning evil action towards them. No. That is what we are saying. If all of us will go out with this clean mind, wallahi, our society will be a better place to live in. I hope. So now, inshallah, our hadiths for the coming week. And Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhuma, anna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam qal, أمرت أن أقاتل الناس حتى يشهدوا أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمدا رسول الله ويقيموا الصلاة ويؤتوا الزكاة فإذا فعلوا ذلك عصموا مني دماءهم وأموالهم إلا بحق الإسلام وحسابهم على الله تعالى. رواه البخاري ومسلم. From Ibn Umar, Abdallah bin Umar radiallahu anhu, may Allah be pleased with them, him and his father Umar bin Khattab, that anna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that the Prophet, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Umirtu, I have been commanded, an uqatil nas, to fight against the people, hatta yashhadu Allah ilaha illallah, until they testify that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, wa yuqimu salah, and until they establish the prayer and pay the zakah. And if they do that, then they will have gained protection from me for their words, for their lives and property, unless they commit acts that are punishable in Islam, and their reckoning will be with Allah. Rawah Bukhari and Muslim. Inshallah, we're going to comment on 8 again, as we did with the last one, when we come next week. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika, shalla ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.